back to another episode. I'm your host, Tamara Gady. Today, we're going to talk about starting your video journey on social media. But first, if you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So give me an opportunity to get a conversation going about your title needs. You can reach out to me on any of my social media platforms. Today's guest is Stacy Zimmerman. She has been someone that I have known since I very first came into the business. And she is a top producer with Ebby Holiday Realtors. In 2022, she single-handedly did 40 million in production. So she's an extremely busy person. But the reason why I wanted to have her come and be on the show with me today is I have a lot of conversations with the listening audience about starting your video journey on social media. And she has begun that journey. She's got quite a few videos underneath her belt now. And so I wanted her to come in and talk about her motivation for starting and getting things going and where she's at now. So Stacy, thank you so much for coming on the show with me today. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tamara.
So I'm one of those people that like to jump right in. And I told you before the show, I prepped you and said I may not always stick with my topic discussions that we laid out, but I'll never ask you anything that you don't know the answer to. So let's start with how we started. Okay. So what made you want to start doing video and what was your motivation for it?
Well, at first, it was last summer, I was at an Ebby event in San Diego, and they were all talking. We had guest speakers talking about social media. And I'm like, I do Facebook. That's good, right?
Yep.
And so it was a lot more than just Facebook. And I was like, it's going to be a tough year this next year. I really need to be relevant.
Yes.
So I took that as a challenge to do something different that I've never done before.
Right.
And so I dove right in.
You did. And so what was your first step?
Well, I met with Kyle Draper, who is the guru at this, and just got some advice. And he was like, oh, you know what? You need to do TikTok. You need to do Instagram. I'm like, oh, no, I cannot do any of that.
Well, and I was at the meeting with you, and I could just see,
were.
sometimes these things can be overwhelming, right? To take it all in at once. Yes.
I was like, oh, God, no.
Well, but your motivation, you really wanted to be relevant, right? You are a work by referral sphere of influence realtor. You always have been. And so starting something new to expose yourself to a bigger audience is a big deal.
It was a very big deal. And I had to make sure that it was what was like me. I didn't want to do something crazy, weird. I wanted to be professional about what I did and give content to people who listen to me.
Yeah.
So
Kyle put you in contact with Amanda.
Yes. So I got Amanda Tippett and we hit it off right away, and she's been fantastic. So she does all my filming for me and she's great.
So let's clarify. Okay. So Amanda is your social media manager.
Yes.
Okay. And so can you list out some of the things that she does for you specifically, a specific list?
Well, okay, let's see. First of all, we work on content together. We figure that out. We figure out location, where we're going to shoot it. And usually we'll have a couple to do together, at the same time so that we can stockpile them a little bit so that we're not going crazy because it's a busy season. So that's kind of how we start. And then we just roll from there.
Okay. And so that's a very interesting thing that you hit home about. You don't have to do a whole bunch of individual videos to where it's taking over and consuming your time.
Right. And I was really concerned that, I'm a busy realtor and it's just me and my right-hand person, Lori. And so it's a lot. I was like, how can I put this on top of everything else? And I also stage all my houses and I renovate my houses that I list. So it was a lot. And we just kind of worked it out where we can do a couple at a time and we can get enough going that it's not every week that we're doing this, but we do put them out every week. So
you will take maybe 1 or 2 days a month and you'll record several videos back to back.
Yes.
And so that you have a stockpile so that you don't have to stop what you're doing all of the time throughout the month and record more content, which I think is a really big golden nugget for everyone.
Yes.
The other thing is, do you bring additional outfits with you? Do you change your clothes in between so you're not wearing the same thing for videos all the time? Because I just recorded, this is my second one of today, wearing the same thing.
Yes, I have a car full of outfits.
There you go.
So usually we've even got to the point where I'll have just a top on and same pants and just keep changing jackets. So yeah, it depends if it's a full picture or just, we're
And it's
just
okay to talk
talking.
about that. That's just some of the behind the
Yeah,
scenes things that have
yeah,
to go on so that you can keep moving down you consolidate and keep moving down the road,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So let's talk about some of the content ideas that you guys have come up with, because I saw one last week that was really funny.
That was, yeah. I try not to do. I mean, we kind of try to make it really relevant to all my clients and something that they can learn from it.
Mhm.
But yeah, we just did this one last week that's just blowing out. We've had a couple funny ones, but this one, my family gets tired of seeing them. They're like, "You're just my 30-year-olds. Like, you're bombarding me, mom, in my Instagram. Every time I turn around, you're bombarding me with your videos." And this one, he actually passed to some friends. So.
Oh, good. The water heater
The
one,
water,
yes.
yes, the hot water heater. So, and it's really even good for my clients who have old
Yes.
hot water heaters. I mean, they're like 8 to 10 years. Okay, well, I better go check. And they're all checking their hot water heaters right now. So,
Well, while your son may not have the right level of appreciation for what you're doing, your clients will. And so
yes,
I'm sure that you've gotten some responses from your and feedback and views from
yes.
your clients, your
Hmm.
sphere, that is appreciating the
Hmm.
education that you're giving them.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of value in what you're doing right now.
I hope so.
I think I watch all of them. I'm pretty good at catching most of them because you
Hmm.
come up on my feed, and I have found that you are extremely eloquent. You are thoroughly educational. You're trying to pass along helpful tips and tricks to your clients. And those are all fabulous content ideas. I mean, those are things that I talk to realtors about all of the time.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be, look at my new listing. There is a place for
Yes.
that. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hmm.
However, when you're doing some additional videos that are things like what you should do to prep your house for the winter, or some of the other things
Right.
that you've done about getting a house ready to sell, those sort of the things, that's providing a level of value to your clients so that they'll want to come back and you look what Stacy told me to do,
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so
That's
it's
the
great
goal.
education.
Yeah,
It's great
that's the goal.
education.
So, yeah.
What platforms are you on? Because I remember us talking, and by the way, I'm going to tell on myself too. I am not on TikTok. Okay. I have never posted a video to TikTok. I have a very specific reason why I'm not on TikTok. And that is because you guys are all over my Facebook and IG. And I want my TikTok for hot guys and dogs that do dumb things. Okay. So I want my TikTok to be fun. But I do see some of the content that I think just comes up because of the algorithm in my TikTok. And so when we first sat down and talked about this, you did not want to be on TikTok.
I
And
did
now you are on
not.
TikTok.
I
So
did
what
not.
platforms are you currently
So we're
on?
on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
Okay.
So, yes, I did take the plunge, and it's amazing how the algorithms work because some will be, I'm thinking, kind of boring, and they love them. So, there's no rhyme or reason, but just bringing good content is what's important.
Well, and I'm sure you and Amanda are making note of the ones that are extremely
Oh,
successful so
yeah.
that you can do additional content geared towards that
Mhm.
thought process,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, do you want to share with us a little advanced unveiling about what your next one's going to be about, or do you guys not have that put together yet?
Well, we're working on a couple of them. We're actually trying to do some interest around the neighborhoods also. So that's going to be something new we haven't done. But I have two new project houses that we're getting ready to redo so that we can list them. And so we're working on now.
Okay, so let's back up because there was something that you tapped into before we started recording. And let's give the background about this, because I've seen a couple of the before and after renovation videos that you've done, and I really like those because there's such a statement, because there's such a big difference in the before and after.
Mhm.
And I think one of the things that you have touched on is that it doesn't have to be this gigantic expense. There's just a few basic things that you can do, right? So let's talk
Right.
about how you got to the point where you could talk about renovations, your history with renovations.
Yeah, I mean, I have been doing it since I started. 15 years ago, I have flipped houses as well as my background's design. So it's fun for me to do. And when I have a client, we just got one on right now that they spent $20,000, but they're going to get $100,000 out of it. So does that make sense?
Whoa, stop right there. Okay.
Yes.
So let me
Yes.
get this straight. They did $20,000 worth of renovations, which increased their sales price by $100,000.
Mhm.
What specifically did you have them do?
So I have a sub that works for me. So we change lighting, we change floors, we change carpet. It's just simple things Chandeliers. I'm constantly at the tile place putting new tile out on these houses. So it's just those kind of things. Lighting is a big one. I mean, even changing the globe on your chandelier can make a big difference in changing that light bulb to daylight because everyone's light and bright.
Sure.
So it's easy. And I do this for my clients all over the place, and they're just so appreciative, and they let me do it. And then, they get the money out of it.
And then they get the money out of it, and then they're really happy with you.
Yes.
So when you're doing something like that, because I'm thinking of the one video that you did specifically that I don't know the address. So they had some carpet, I think, and some dark walls with white.
Oh, yes.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yes.
So that was a pretty stark before and after.
Mhm.
It was so much brighter and happier in the house. It just really uplifted the house. But I noticed that you redid all of the flooring. Were they living in the house when you did that?
No,
Yeah.
I moved them out.
Okay.
And literally I went and got the flooring, picked out the color, had it laid down, redid the tile. So yeah, they just let me do it. And it's worth it. Those people, it was supposed to be 700,000 is what we were going to do if we didn't touch it. And if they let me touch it and spend about $35,000, that's where they're going to get $150,000 on their sales price.
Okay.
And currently it's working.
And I think that
We're
is
waiting for the offer.
And
So,
look, it kind of going back to, the social media journey, the things that you do in your everyday realtor life
Mhm.
is the perfect content for social media. You're
Mhm.
doing things every day that people need to learn and understand
yeah.
so that they can do things like increase the value of their home. So
Yeah.
I think it's great. So, okay. How did you, because I know that we talked about this a little bit, and I'm not trying to overexpose you. I'm trying to talk about something that I know is a very common theme when starting out video, right?
Mhm.
There is a fear in starting, right? Seeing
Oh,
yourself
yes.
on video, the things I hate, the things I hear all the time are I hate how I sound, I hate how I look, but
Yeah.
I always go back to your people know you, love you, and trust you. They know what you look like and what you
Yes.
sound like
Yes.
already. And I will be a little bit vulnerable here, Stacey, because when I get going and I got a big old laugh on one of my videos, I'm like, oh, good girl, you need to rein it in. But everybody knows my laugh too, so
Yes.
it's okay.
Yes.
So can you talk about a little bit about how you overcame that? Like, was there anything you did to overcome that hesitation to start?
It was a big step forward. I'll have to tell you that it's real hard to get in front of a camera and look at yourself and say, that didn't look good, or what was I saying? And why did I say that? But yeah, it's real hard.
It is hard.
But practice makes perfect. So, and it's not perfect for sure. Not perfect at all. So I get comments about my hair being too high or something.
No, you leave those haters alone, okay? I am all about the big hair, and so don't you even listen to them one bit, Stacey.
No. So yeah. I was like, do we respond to that? I don't
No.
know. Well, I did. I just said, it was a humid day in Prosper. So.
Yeah, this is what we do.
This is
Don't
what
be
we do.
jealous.
Yeah.
Don't be
hating.
jealous.
And don't be hating.
So I think I love what you said about practice makes perfect, because you're not wrong about that. And I always reference back to when I very first started in real estate and I was working for Arch Foundation Repair, and I had to do big sales presentations. And I swear the first time I thought my hands were sweating, and I was so scared, and I didn't know how that was going to go. And I wouldn't let Clay leave me for like 6 months, because I was so scared somebody was going to ask me a question I didn't know the answer to. But then as you do things and you gain practice, you gain confidence, right?
Yeah. You just relax and just tell the story.
Correct.
Which is what we're there for. So,
And that's what we're doing right now. We're just telling a story for about 30 minutes. Okay, let me ask you this. Do you watch your own videos?
I do watch them. And, I'll say, Amanda, my hair was bad right there. Or, look at that. So we correct things as we go. But of course I do, because I got to see what I'm putting out there. And if it's what I intended to say, which if you have a good social media person, they're gonna know what you like, how you want to be, and what you want to say. So we work together as a team. And so, yeah, it works.
Okay. I know some people that don't watch their own. I'm notorious for calling myself one take Tamara. I do not retake videos. I take one take and then we're done and we just move on, and it is what it is, because again, people know you and love you and trust you already. Right.
Yes.
But I do know that that's part of the analysis paralysis for people is they start to watch their own videos before I mean, I'm hoping you turn them over to Amanda, and then maybe she has some sort of like stopgap. Like, we're
Yeah.
not doing this again, Stacey.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Like, she has to manage that part sometimes.
Yes, she does. And she'll send them to me. And I'm going, oh my gosh, look at that. So cut that, put that in. So it's kind of a cut and paste. But yeah,
That's okay. I mean, I think that is everybody's biggest challenge with moving forward with video, right?
And I think people like to see who I am. I do have bloopers. I mean, we laughed and said, maybe we should do some bloopers sometime because it is funny to watch us do this together.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well,
just trying to remember the content. What was that again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What did I say there? I like that. What was that again? So it's fun.
Well, and I'm glad you're having a good time with it, because that's, if you start to see results from it and you're enjoying it, which you don't at first, but you eventually do, right? It just becomes second nature. And then you start to think of content ideas all the time. And then you're like, okay, let's do a video on this and do a video on that. People don't understand. It just kind of has this domino effect, right? And you see the value that it's bringing to your clients and the people that in your sphere. I think it's just, obviously I'm a huge fan. This is my second video of the day. Okay. So, you explained what platforms you are on. How long? Tell the audience how long now that you've been doing that.
We've been doing this. We started out in January. I think we started in January.
Okay.
And we put out one a week. So it's, it's all about continuity, just keeping it going. So.
Okay. And have you seen any tangible results?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about that.
So I'm at church and everybody around me is talking. I'm at a dinner party and everybody's talking about my videos. So what do realtors want? They want to be known for what they do.
Yeah.
So wherever I'm at, grocery store. Oh, I saw your video. They love it. So yes, it helps. And I actually had a client who I sold his house. We bought a house. He referred me to another person. And he said, when I saw your videos, I'm like, when I got ready to sell my house, it was going to be you. It was hands down.
This is so great.
Yeah.
I love hearing about this.
$2 million ditty just from this. So, I mean, and it's not, it's not always tangible, but that was my first results. I have a client right now and she's in social media.
Okay.
So I meet with, it was a friend of mine, is their son. And so she doesn't know me, the wife doesn't. And she looks me up on social media. There I am. She's like, oh, I love it. She's our realtor. So, I'm
so happy to hear this.
Yeah. So it's about being out. It's like a fashion show. You never know what you're going to get out of that, but long range you do. It's the same thing. I mean, these videos are making me relevant, giving them content that that helps them. And then I get business out of that. So it's all great.
I think that is super fascinating because it's June 22nd. So you've been doing them for about 6 months. You've already gotten business from them. And I tell realtors all the time, your competitors are not doing this.
No, they're not.
And so when you do this, you're setting yourself apart. And it's absolutely amazing. I did have one client, I think she did them last year or the year before. She did a few, like 3 or 4 or 5 of them. She was at her house with her baseball hat on, her laptop, it was totally informal, but she was just giving some really good information. And she ended up getting I think she said 4 listings from them, and then she quit.
Oh,
and I'm like, what?
No.
Why did you quit? It was working. It's working.
Yeah.
So I think that is, but again, we just go back to that fear of doing them and then also being consistent. And that's a big issue, is consistency, right?
Exactly. I've got to put one out every week.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. And people will even ask me, what's the next one on? I'm like,
oh, see, I asked you that and you told me. So I feel like I got some inside information. Well, I love that you are having tangible results from it. And that speaks volumes of the need for people to be doing video, right? Mine's taken a lot longer because I'm talking to a niche audience, right? I don't talk to consumers, right? My stuff is not for the general public. But I can tell you that building that history and consistency, I mean, I'm getting a lot of views, and I want it to convert into more opportunities for my company as well. So I'm so thankful to hear that that's happening for you. Tell me what your favorite video has been so far.
Okay, well, probably my hot water heater was my funniest one.
Yes.
But we did one that was basically what we do as realtors to get a house listed, from the point of going in, get the listing, fixing things, negotiating repairs, putting the sign out. And it was I had a hard hat on. We were working on repairs. So it was like 5 or 6 different outfits. Do you remember that one? With a white hard hat on. I borrowed from my.
Was that one of the first ones you did?
Yeah, it was actually kind of close to front.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I remember,
But
yes.
that was fun. And that was a lot of outfits.
Was there a moving truck in that one?
No, that was my first one.
That was your first one?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have 2 warehouses full of furniture, plus my garage has been renovated so that I can put all my staging stuff in it. So we were actually working on a house. So it was kind of fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you listed about your favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
So before we wrap up today, I have one more question for you. So let's talk about, do you have any advice for those that want to get started in video?
Well,
besides just do it.
Just do it. It is scary. I mean, you really need to get somebody that knows what they're doing to help you, because you want it to portray how your image is, whatever that image is. And so you just have to take that step forward. It's uncomfortable at first, but surround people around you, make sure you have good content, be professional about what you do. That's very important. At least I feel that that's what I want to do, and represent myself. So, but you just gotta take that step.
You gotta take the step.
It's hard. It's a hard step, but
yeah.
I thought I had it all until I said, well, you know what? I really just do Facebook. That's just not enough. So.
Well, you're all over them now, all over the platforms now. So, and I have thoroughly enjoyed watching your journey, and I will continue to enjoy watching your journey. So I think that's a great place to stop for today. So thank you, Stacey, for being my guest. Like I said, I've watched it from the beginning. We've known each other for a very long time.
We have.
And so, this was an exciting podcast recording for me today. So thank you for sharing and being so open.
You're welcome.
So that's another episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, I'm your host, Tamara Gady. If you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So let's get a conversation going about your title needs and make it a great day.